after drafting our pattern, I've gone ahead to cut each of our piece. All right, so I've cut each of our piece of pattern to a fabric, and this is the pattern set for the fabric. Now what I've succeeded in doing is also to cut the lining for each of them. Okay, so this is on fold, so whatever you're seeing here is on fold, is double, like for both sides. Okay, both the fronts too. You can see this one is for the both side, then the lining is underneath it. Okay, so I made the down part of the lining shorter so that the front part will go in properly. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and sew. Make sure you are careful to label your pieces properly. Okay, so I'm pinning this down this way, so the side I'm pinning is where I'm going to be sewing, so you take note so that you don't mix up the sides that you are going to sew. Take note. So I'm going to start with the front. I'm going to sew that part. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and sew that part, and after I sew that part, that's the part that my cup and my keyhole will fit in. Okay, so the same thing for the lining. I'm going to do the same thing for the lining. So let's go ahead and sew. So I'm going to be joining each of the pieces together like this. Now when you're sewing, you have to be careful, and your sewing has to be accurate at this point in time so that everything will come out neatly and beautiful. Because the sewing of this keyhole corset bustier blazer is technical, so you have to be very careful in the sewing. It might not go smoothly like the normal blazer jacket. Okay, like you bear witness with me, if you took the first class, the normal blazer is much more easier to sew than this one. As we advance further in the sewing, you would get to see what I'm telling you. So you have to pay close attention to the sewing techniques that I'm going to be putting you through in this class. Okay, all right guys, so you can see how it looks. That's where our cup will fit in, and then we'll just go ahead to sew our cup right away. Okay, so I'm just going to sew this one, and then I expect you to sew yours. Okay, so you remember that I had to pin it to the direction I want to sew. Just make sure you indicate yours, how you can understand the right positioning of your cup, so you know where to sew. Okay, so by the time you sew this part, remember our cup is 3-piece cup, so we are going to join the other part. And also very important, as you sew, you press, you iron, you press. Remember that I taught you how you're going to be doing your pressing or your ironing in our initial class. Okay, that's why I'd advise you to take that class if you have not taken that first blazer and pant class. I explained in detail how to do the ironing or the pressing. Okay, so the 3-piece cup is together, should I say, is combined with our keyhole. Okay, so this is the parts that we are going to connect now. All right, so I'll go ahead and sew that part right away. Before I sew, I just want to show you how the part looks, how it looks on our bodies. Okay, so this is how it's going to look. So I'm just going to leave this part aside first, and then we're going to go ahead to join our back bodies after I sew the cup. Okay, I'm not going to connect it to the blazer yet, but after I sew the cup, sew this cup right now. I'm going to do the back, then we'll come back to the front side, okay, so that we'll pay much attention to that part after we're done with the back. All right, so make sure you place it well. You can see that I had to pin both sides so it will align well, and then the sewing is going to be done carefully, so that part will look very, very neat after pressing. Okay, all right, so this is it. Okay, this is how it looks after sewing. So the next thing you want to do is to iron. Now this is the back. This is how the back looks. The back has gathers at the down parts. Okay, it has a little gathers there, just a style that I created. You saw the pattern when I was doing it. Okay, so first of all, I'll join the part, that's the center part of the back. I'll join that part first, and then go ahead to join the other sides after I must have added my gathers part. All right, so just watch carefully and see how I'm going to do this part. So guys, so I just want you to see how it is when I open it, and then I'll just go ahead and sew on gathers. I'll sew this part on gathers, and then I'm going to go ahead and draw the gathers and join it. So if you don't know how to draw gathers, if you're a beginner, you have to set your machine to a wider stitch. I don't know the readings of your machine though, but make sure it has the widest stitch so that you'll be able to pull the thread, one of the thread, not both. Okay, one of the thread. By the time you pull it, you see that you have your gathers there. All right, so that's it. So you just go ahead and adjust your gathers to be equal all through. Like one place should not be more gathered than the other. So after doing that and ensuring it's equal, I'm just going to go ahead and connect it to the center back where we have our style. And then I'm going to follow the thread line, the initial thread line I use for the gather. Going to follow it strictly so it comes out very, very nice and accurate. Okay, so you just need to arrange it again so that it will be on a straight line, and it will be straight on it, and then you sew. You can see the sewing is gradual and care with care. So this is it. I'll go ahead and join the sides, but when joining, I'll make sure that my seam is open. The seam where I joined the gathers just now will be open, so that by the time I iron out that seam, it's going to look neat. Otherwise, I would have ironed it before joining this side. Okay, but since I'm joining it first, I have to use my hand to open that seam while I sew pass across it. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to go ahead to join the other side also. Okay, All right, so here we go. So let's go back to our keyhole corset. This is the cup. This is the cup right here. I just want to reduce the seam allowance there. Okay, just want to reduce it because it looks bulky. Now after reducing it, now you might want to add a cup to it, your bra cup. You are free to add it at this point, and if you want to just go ahead and sew it like that, you're still free. Okay, I'd advise you add the bra cup to it to make it look more firm and neater. Mine, I didn't add to it, so by the time I'm going to be wearing it, I'm going to be wearing my bra. Okay, so this is it. That's the back and the front. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn that upper part. Remember, this part is going to be overlaid on the upper part of our blazer, the upper part. So I'll just go ahead and sew across that part now. That needs to be at the upper part. I'll sew it and turn it. That's why I said sewing this blazer can be tricky, so you need to follow carefully each sewing process. You need to follow each of the stages we're using to sew this blazer. Okay, so I'm just going to trim to make it equal and to reduce the seam allowance. Okay, so that by the time I turn it over, it's going to look smoother. So I'll just notch like so, and then we'll go ahead and iron. Okay, so this is how I'm going to place it. You can see it's resting, meaning I'm still going to use the lining to turn the upper part. Okay, so my lines have to align with each other, and when fixing it, I'm going to just match down. I'm going to make it equal and match down this side all round. Okay, so I've sewn that side to hold it together. Now I'll just go ahead and connect my seam for the bodies and the cup together so they will align together. Then I'll go ahead and join the cup round. Just watch carefully how I'm joining it so you know how you're going to go about joining yours. So just do that carefully. Of course, you know this is the cup area you're sewing, so you want to do it carefully. So when I do this part like this, I'm going to allow you to do the other part. Okay, it's actually the same way you're going to join both. So I'm just removing the excess at the tip so that side won't be too chunky or bulky after turning it over. So I'm just going to be sewing it carefully and gradually, okay. Make sure you are careful when making yours also, like this. So you can see this pointy side. You have to be careful with this pointy side because you may need to stop and turn it over to join that side that looks like a square, like a sharp square. So you need to do that part carefully, otherwise you're going to have a little gathers there. So I'm just going to do that carefully. So this is it. Okay. Now, if you're not patient, you may not be able to make this. You need a little more patience to be able to make this blazer. Okay. You need to be patient, and you need a higher level of concentration when making this. So that's the pointy side I was talking about. You can see. Alright, just checking to be sure that it's okay. So that's it. We are going to iron it, and then before we do the ironing all together, I'm going to turn this part. That's the upper part. This upper part here. Yes, I'm going to turn it because that place has to be turned. Okay. That's the keyhole, the opening facing the upper part of our corset hem at the top. So this place too has to be turned. So I'm going to sew it and turn it over right away. So now you have to watch this part carefully. Now the turning is going to also affect parts of the cup. I'm turning it together with the seam inside so that all my seam will be hidden inside. Okay, so now this part I'm turning is the cup. That's the seam round the cup that we use to join the cup to the bodies at the front. So now this lining is going to help us turn that part in also, so everything will be hidden. Probably you don't understand it right now, but by the time I bring it out, I'm done sewing it. I'm going to show you to see it clearly. Okay. So at this point in time, you don't want to just sew with speed. You just want to be careful while you sew. You arrange carefully to make sure that it comes out really nice and clean. Okay. Put that square area that we were careful with initially. We're still going to sew that part in. Everything has to be inside. It's a blazer, you know. A blazer with lining. Everything has to be inside. Just because I want this part to be a little bit straight, I'm using my scissors to just give it a little notch so it can be more straight while I sew. Okay. We really want to take our time there. Okay. You can see what I'm saying. We have covered that seam both inside and out. Okay, so this is the top where we just sew. You can see, right? So that's our keyhole, and we're just going to place this one on top right there. So by the time we iron, it's going to come out really nice. So I'm going to just go ahead and notch this part so it will be straight and neat at the front. Okay, so I'm still going to reduce the seam in here, but I'm going to notch it all through because it's a curve, so I have to notch it all through so that after ironing it's going to come out really neat and nice. Okay. Alright guys, so this part I'm here to sew this part. That's that square area that I was telling you about. Now I just have to sew it and turn it inward inside also. So I'm going to do that carefully now. Okay. So I'll just go ahead and sew. Now this part, it has to be with a lot of care. The reason why I'm showing you all this step by step is to make you understand that sewing it too. So you see that it's not that easy and that it may take you a lot of time and dedication to do it. Okay. So yeah, we are good. So we're really going to need thorough ironing. Make sure you iron thoroughly. Okay. So guys, this is what we have here. Okay. That's how it should be. Alright, I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye. Thank you for watching, guys. Check description for the link to the next video, or you can check our page to continue watching the video. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe to get notification whenever we post new videos. Thank you and bye.